Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rakahakwadash, Barakathum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure unto the end. This is the Brother Ra'aya coming at you with another lesson, and I'll be reading from an article on the economiccollapseblog.com titled, Thanks to Years of Inflation, the Price of Breakfast in America is Now Obscene. And you know, that grocery bill is getting higher and higher with each passing day, each passing month, each passing year, and it's only going to continue to do so. Yahweh Bahasham Yahawashi is judging this world, especially America and you Americans in it, for all the iniquity or wickedness that's being committed. And it's only going to get worse from here on out. Apostle Tahar has deemed 2025 to be the hopeful deliverance of the elect and the destruction of Esau Edom, and that comes with famines, pestilences, food shortages, high, food prices, people fighting each other because, the prices are too high and due to the lack of food, etc., etc. But it reads, they have officially ruined breakfast. Once upon a time, breakfast was the least expensive meal of the day, but now everything has changed. Eggs, butter, and coffee have all become extremely expensive, and there is no relief in sight in 2025. Was it saying Matthew 24 verse 8? All these are the beginning of sorrows. When I went to the grocery store on Friday, I spent about $45 for just 9 tubs of butter. I could hardly believe my eyes, but after doing some digging, I discovered that $5 for a pound of butter is very close to the national average at this stage. Of course, in some areas, it is even more expensive. During an exchange on MSNBC's Morning Joe program, Joe Scarborough was astounded to learn that the price of butter has reached $7 in some stores in his area. It's $7. I'm just saying, it's 7. Brzezinski interrupted. Butter is $7? What, is it framed in gold? Scarborough replied incredulously with a look of shock on his face. It's $7. It depends where you go, Brzezinski stated somberly. Europe is facing a similar crisis. In fact, the price of butter in Europe jumped by an average of 19% during the 12-month period ending in October. Across the 27 member states of the European Union, the price of butter rose 19% on average from October 2023 to October 2024. That included a rise of 49% in Slovakia and 40% in Germany and the Czech Republic, according to EU figures, with reports indicating the cost has continued to rise. But they keep telling us that inflation is under control. Yeah, right. Egg prices have been rising even more rapidly. In some areas of California, a carton of 12 eggs will now cost you $9. Egg prices in California have reached unprecedented levels, with some areas reporting costs as high as $9 per dozen. This surge is largely attributed to the ongoing impact of the highly pestilogenic avian influenza, HPAI, commonly known as the avian sneeze, which has significantly disrupted egg supply across the United States. The price escalation in California is particularly notable. While the national average for a dozen grade A large eggs hovers around $3.20, in California, the average price for a carton of white cage-free eggs has hit $5.11. However, in certain regions, consumers are seeing prices nearly double that amount. I vividly remember when you could buy a carton of 12 eggs for less than $1 and shit. I don't even remember that. Sadly, those days are gone and they aren't coming back. It is being reported that egg prices have risen 160% since 2019, and they are expected to go substantially higher in 2025 because of the avian sneeze. And hey, we don't need these pundits to tell us. We have biblical prophecy to tell us that these prices are just going to keep going up and up and up. This is Revelation chapter 6. I'm going to start at verse 5. And this is dealing with the so-called four horsemen of the apocalypse, which are just symbolic for things that would be taking place during the last days. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, "Come and see." And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, "A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine." And when we go to that word penny in the Strongs, it's G1220, denarion, which in the outline of biblical usage says a Roman silver coin in New Testament times. It took its name from it being equal to 10 asses. It was the principal silver coin of the Roman Empire. From the parable of the laborers in the vineyard, it would seem that a denarius was the ordinary pay for a day's wages. And in the ancient world, and especially according to the laws, statutes, and commandments in the scriptures, when the day a man worked, he was paid that very same day for his work. It's not like this wicked society we live in now, where most people are paid every 2 to 3 weeks. So think about it like this. Your entire paycheck to buy what? A significantly less amount of food, which, that's what we're reading about in that article. Due to inflation, prices are going up, so you're able to afford less for your dollar. And then on top of that, you have something called shrinkflation, where they manipulate the size of the packages so you get less products for the same ever-increasing price. And America is the Roman Empire reincarnated. So you can look at that denarius, that principal silver coin of the Roman Empire, as the US dollar today, the principal currency for modern Rome. It is being reported, I already read that, if you love coffee, you should be aware that coffee prices are also being projected to continue to rise at an exponential rate in 2025. Can you imagine paying $8 for a single cup of coffee? Well, those that live in Australia could be doing exactly that by the end of this calendar year. Coffee lovers could soon not be able to justify buying their caffeine fix daily, with experts warning single cup could cost from $8 to $12 by the end of 2025. A confluence of factors has pushed Arabica bean prices into the stratosphere. If you can believe it, the price of a pound of Arabica beans jumped more than 80% in 2024. The warning comes as the price of Arabica beans, the world's most popular variety, continues to rise. Buying a pound of the bean variety topped US $3.44 on December 10th, having risen more than 80% in 2024. Chocolate prices are entering unprecedented territory as well. In 2024, cocoa futures actually tripled in price. Prices for chocolate's main ingredient have almost tripled since the start of 2024, as faltering production in West Africa, the world's biggest growing region, led to supply shortages. the publication wrote, citing exchange data. In early January, cocoa futures traded at around $4,000 per ton. In mid-December, they peaked at $12,700 per ton, according to data from Trading Economics. As this price shift starts filtering down to the consumer level, a lot of us won't be able to afford to eat as much chocolate as we once did. A lot of Americans are already hurting. You can read plenty of reports saying that Americans are having to tighten their economic belts, cut off, their luxuries and creature comforts just to maintain the necessities, their electric bill, food, gas, and especially their rent. In fact, we have already reached a point where chocolate is being referred to as a luxury item. If you love beef, I have more bad news for you. According to Zero Hedge, cattle futures just hit another all-time record high. Cattle futures in Chicago surged to fresh record highs on Friday, driven by severe winter weather forecasts for the Central Plains and Midwest, two key regions home to the nation's cattle belt. Analysts warn that the harsh conditions could reduce herd sizes and impact carcass weights, further tightening the nation's cattle supply. So not only is it pestilences affecting food and supply chains, but adverse weather events as well, which, has been hammering U.S. farmers over these last couple of years. Again, the plagues and the judgments from Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 15 in the Apocrypha. I'm going to start at verse 10. Behold, my people, the children of Israel, consisting of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the bulk of which are in the Americas, and then you have the Israelite foreigners who look like the heathen nations, is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, and this is spiritual Egypt, as pursuant to Revelation 11 verse 8, the United States of America. And those that he will not suffer to dwell in the land of Egypt are the elect, who are going to be, the only Israelites that are going to be saved out of Egypt, America, when Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai completely destroys this place with nuclear missiles, as well as the laser beams from the chariots, which people ignorantly refer to as so-called UFOs. Again, 2025 is the hopeful year of the deliverance of the elect of the nation of Israel and the destruction of Esau, Edom, and Abaratazah. This is the year. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and the punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. Inflation, just this civil unrest between these Americans out here, that heavy political divide, wars and rumors of wars, and especially these weather events. Hey, these are just some of the examples of the plagues and the punishments that Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai is bringing upon this place. Verse 13, they that till the ground, and who are those that till the ground? Your farmers, shall mourn, for their seeds shall fail through the blasting and hail and with the fearful constellation. These adverse weather events destroying croplands and leading to less and less yields each season. And then also, these adverse weather events, affecting cattle, chicken, and other animal herds. While cattle can tolerate cold weather, extreme cold forces them to expend more energy, directly impacting feed conversion rates and ultimately reducing carcass weights. Daily Livestock Report wrote in a note on Friday, warning that cattle weights fell 3% during last year's cold blast across the lower 48. Demand for beef remains very robust, but the size of the U.S. national cattle herd just keeps shrinking. At this point, it is the smallest that it has been since 1961. So beef prices will just keep escalating in 2025. You could try switching to chicken or turkey, but they are both becoming more expensive thanks to the avian sneeze. The bottom line is that we are transitioning into an entirely new environment. We were quite accustomed to living in a society that produced enormous quantities of extremely inexpensive food. But now, global food supplies are steadily getting tighter, and global food prices are steadily marching upwards. Hunger is on the rise all over the world, and demand at food banks in the United States is higher than ever before. That's it with that article. But hey, food supplies, are dwindling. The supply chain is getting tighter. And, as he just said, food bank lines all across America are getting longer and longer. And then you've got starvation, ramping up in other parts all across the planet. Famines are part of biblical prophecy, and people fighting each other to the death over food are as well. Because it's going to get to a point to where people are going to be tapped out, monetarily. And so they can't afford food. They can't afford rent. A lot of them are going to be living on the streets. And once their stomachs start touching their backs and they and their loved ones, they got to look at their loved ones starving, you're really going to see that dog in these people come out. Friends are going to turn against another like deadly enemies. Go back to 2nd Esdras chapter 15. I'm going to jump to verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. And the modern day sword in America is what? That gun. And spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, food shortages, and people just not being able to afford food. And for great tribulation, all these other plagues and punishments that Yahweh Bahashem Yahawashi is quickly bringing to the United States of America and globally as well. So that's it with this video. And with this video, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. We are almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babol, Kwam Yasharallah, and until next time, Shalom.